Good afternoon and welcome to Nutmeg Sports on the ATN Network. A happy Red Nose Day as Frank Granito, Kevin Coleman, and John Kovacs in studio supporting the cause. That is all the speaking I can do with that red nose on. Boys, we've got a busy week coming closer and closer to the end, and it was a lot of fun last night with a lot of action going on.
In all seriousness, Frank, that was a great lacrosse game. I can't do the Rudolph thing anymore. It's really hard to talk.
John,
it's really,
well, that is. I'm glad you said that. That is where we want to start. You were at the girls' lacrosse last night, and Ridgefield playing in their first ever conference championship game. Darien looking to win their 16th under Lisa Lindley, their 6th consecutive, and the Tigers got to see what it was like swimming in the deep waters.
They hung with Darien for a half, and I was very impressed by them for that half. They're down 3 at intermission. They're right there, and they're doing what they need to do. And a lot of it is Caroline Colonel winning the draw. We talk about how important the draw is in lacrosse. And the adjustments that were made at the half just shut Ridgefield down. Darien came out, they did some unique sets on offense. They took advantage of their height advantage over Lexi Held in the Ridgefield net, and they just imposed their will, was the term that I used, on Ridgefield in that second half and pulled away and left no question who the dominant team in girls lacrosse in the FCAC is.
And Kevin, it was a 10-goal difference in this game, but it didn't feel that Ridgefield was that outplayed. And what gets lost now in all of these championships and how dominant Darien is how good of a coach Lisa Lindley is. You see the adjustments made at halftime that helped create that separation against the Tigers.
Yeah, Lisa Lindley, again, proving why she's one of the best. And, she even gave a lot of credit to Ridgefield at the end of the game, gave him some kudos, even to Caroline Colonel, who she said, Darien Blue Wave had a lot of trouble with during the game, especially in the face-off circle. We know how good Caroline Colonel is. But overall, she gave Ridgefield a lot of credit, especially to the younger players, like Slaminko, like Lexi Held, the freshman goalie and the freshman attackman. And I think, it speaks volumes to not only the adjustments she made, but she speaks highly of this young Ridgefield team, and she knows that they're going to be a force for years to come.
Lexi Held was phenomenal, especially playing in her first conference tournament as a freshman. On the other side, Carly Schudel, the goaltender for the Wave, was the conference tournament playoff MVP. Again, Schudel just so professional, John, going about her business like it's any other day at the office, and it was a very well-deserved trophy, and I think it speaks testament not just to this season, but to her whole career, as this being the culmination here in her FCI career.
No question, and when Ridgefield did get on the attack, once Darien's defense figured things out, it was very matter-of-fact. Chanel was there to make the save. She really wasn't tested in the second half. She clearing away. You probably could have argued to give it to one of the players who scored goals, but the scoring was so well distributed that I think if you look at not just last night, but you look at the semifinals and the quarterfinals, that she's the deserving MVP.
It was a 17-7 final. Darien's 6th consecutive FCX championship. Let's look at the highlights from last night's game.
Tries to run in. Now Colonel again out at the point. Tries to go to the inside, and there's the goal!
There it is.
Just tucked inside the post. Ridgefield strikes early. A real test for Lexi Held. And it's in, tied up. Number 12, Lauren Jennings with the goal. Stop ahead, coming through on the cut and bouncing it in for the goal. Emma Lesko, the senior captain, and for the first time, somebody has a 2-goal lead. It's the Darien Blue Wave. Hage.
This time it works.
Hage feeds Tobin. Tobin just kind of places it in the net. Ridgefield has stopped the Darien run at 3. Work in the middle and scoring on a low shot. That's Nicole Humphrey.
And the last shot.
You need more than that. Colonel is dispossessed, scoops it up, and finds the net. And it's a 2-goal game with 31 seconds to go.
Yeah.
Now here you're going to hold for one, Tim. Or not. And there's the goal.
Darien might go for a couple. Ashley Humphrey. Still trying to pull a Darien defense out, create some space. And there's a yellow.
And there's the goal. Slaminko with the goal for Ridgefield. They're going to bunch the whole Ridgefield defense up, and then they're just going to play 2-on-2, and one personal cut, and there's the secondary cut, and there's another quick goal by Darien.
If I'm Ridgefield, I'm calling a timeout now because they need to regroup defensively out of the draws. That time they went to the high.
Another cut.
Nicole
Another
Humphrey.
feed from behind.
Nicole Humphrey on that.
Now they're 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and for the 6th time in 6 years, the Darien Blue Wave can say they rule FCAC girls lacrosse. The final score 17-7. Darien knocks off Ridgefield, and it was a game Ridgefield team for the first half.
So as we see there, a much closer game than the scoreboard resembled through the middle part of it, John, around the half, coming out of the half. But again, the adjustments made by Darien and the play in goal by Carly Shudell, just too much for the Tigers to overcome. Our own Steve Buno caught up with the tournament MVP, Carly Shudell. Let's have a look at that interview.
They really challenged you. They were in your face a lot, and you turned back the tide a bunch of times. What did it feel like in that net?
Yeah, I don't like to think about the score. I just think like the next one's yours, the next one's yours. And when they just kept coming in the first half, I just knew that I had to stop that ball. Yeah.
Do you bring back any I know you're in the zone and athletes, it's like a dream. You wake up and it's gone. But do you bring back any moments, big moments when you stop them?
I think one was up high, and I at the end in the second half, and it was right here, grabbed it and just passed it right to Abigail and went down, and they scored. And I think that was a very memorable moment for this part of this game.
And what's it like? Because on this program, you got excellent people have to wait till they're seniors to get their shot. And
Yeah.
I think it's like added pressure.
Yeah.
And what's it like for you to get your shot now?
It's awesome. I love it so much, and I'm really excited that I got my shot and had a good game. Yeah.
Did you wait for this, all through your career?
Yeah, I
Were you
did.
thinking about this type of moment a lot?
Yeah, I mean, it's my last chance to win FCACs. I'm a senior, so I think it was really nice to come out on top today.
So we look ahead now to the state tournament coming up for the girls. Darien will draw Southington in the first round. Ridgefield, a tough matchup at home against Staples. New Canaan and Fairfield Ward, an interesting game, a rematch of the quarterfinals there. Fairfield Ward, John, they were the state semifinalists last year. New Canaan and Darien on a crash course for the semifinals. Wilton is at the bottom of the bracket. They get Glastonbury. You look at this bracket up and down, and I really do believe you could see 4 FCAC teams in the semifinals here.
I wouldn't be surprised if you do get to that point. The FCAC that dominant in girls lacrosse this year. I gotta say I almost expect that to happen.
Kevin, for you right now, is it Darien's tournament to lose? Do you maybe give a team like New Canaan an edge, having a little extra time to rest and get remotivated? And how do you see Ridgefield possibly responding off their championship loss?
I still think it's Darien's tournament to lose. I mean, this team is just so dominant. But for New Canaan, what I want to see out of the Rams is more motivation. I think they were, not very happy about losing in the semifinals to Ridgefield. They wanted another crack at Darien. So I think, for me, I want to see the Rams come out with some vengeance here in the state tournament. Get all the way if they can. Get another crack at Darien, because I really do think this is a talented Rams team with Campbell Armstrong, Carly Bucci and company that can really keep up and slow down this Darien Blue Wave offense. But for Ridgefield, I think they will bounce back. I think, they shall have a lot to be proud of. Don't hang your heads too much. They kept up pretty well with one of the best teams, not only in Connecticut, but in the nation. So I think they got to keep your heads up, stay motivated. I think this is a team that can certainly make another run for a state title.
Ridgefield needs to be very careful, too, because if they get by Staples in round 1, potentially waiting there in the quarters, Greenwich. And I think the Cardinals would like a little revenge for that quarterfinal FCAC game we saw.
That's a fun bracket.
That's going to be a great
yeah.
bracket, especially with New Canaan moving up. It is really putting the FCAC on display right now. Another fun bracket was the FCAC baseball bracket. We had semifinals last night from Harbor Yard. We're going to have those highlights and breakdown coming up after the break. Johnny, great job last night. Thanks for coming on with us today. Throw on the red nose one more time before we go to break.
Kind of like that.
Red Nose Day at the HA Network. We'll be right back after this.
Part of banking well is doing good. That's why, with the support of local community partners, Bankwell has launched the Bankwell Pet Adoption Project to boost awareness about the hundreds of animals in local shelters that need a home. And when you donate to the cause using the Bankwell self-service coin machines, we'll match your donation. For details, visit mybankwell.com/pleaseadoptme. Bank smart, bank local, bank well.
Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday, now at 3 locations: 131 Kings Highway North in Westport, the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue, Norwalk, and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
At the Milford Bank, we offer an extensive selection of lending products and services to meet virtually any need. Submit your application online in our Mortgage Web Center. Start to finish, you can apply for a loan in as little as 10 minutes. Our knowledgeable and helpful staff are available to meet with you at your convenience. To learn more about what we can do for you, stop by one of our Milford Bank offices or visit us at milfordbank.com. The Milford Bank, always there. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When it comes to considering the outside of your home, just imagine the possibilities. Whether your dream is a stunning freeform pool or a tranquil, secluded garden, the team of professionals at Stonebridge Associates will make it a reality. We offer unparalleled landscape design and construction, masonry development, pools, spas, and water features, as well as landscape and garden maintenance. No other firm can offer the same level of creativity, quality, and personal attention. Discover the possibilities at stonebridgeassociates.net or call 203-544-8376 today.
Pizza to satisfy even the most demanding critics. Tuesday Pazza Pizza.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Sign-ups are now open for one of our most popular programs, the New England 80 Elite Lacrosse Division I and Division III showcases. With D1 and D3 coaches in attendance, players will receive a 60-minute webinar with Director of Recruiting Hans Hansen, a custom NE80 penny, custom shorts, and a video of all games. Last year's event sold out quickly, so sign up now for the next showcase coming in January 2018. Like and follow us on Facebook.
If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier network, and we've also reached more than 2 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. Happy to welcome in our director, Eric Gendron, now as he joins the show. Special thanks to John Kovac again. Great job to both John and Tim Murphy last night with the Girls Lacrosse Championships. We move forward now, Kevin, to the baseball semifinals at Harbor Yard last night. Let's start with that first game. I don't think anyone expected it to be that lopsided that quickly.
Well, especially early on. I don't think a lot of people expected Wilton to drop 8 runs in the bottom of the first inning, but you have to credit the Warriors for coming out to a hot start against a team like Darien, who right now, I think before that game, was easily a team that you could have easily picked to go to the finals, but Wilton surprising a lot of people. You know, listen, this is a number 2 seed. You know, Wilton's not messing around, and you know, this is a baseball team that is stacked 1 through 9. They can hit. They're not necessarily hit for power, but they can hit for line drives, base hits, doubles, and they showcased that yesterday. And I thought 1 through 9 was excellent. Everyone, and I mean everyone, got a hit 1 through 9 last night, which was so impressive. And that first inning really blew the door open for the Wilton Warriors.
And it's a good point you make there, too, that they're not a team that really hits for power. Eric, when you talk about these games at Harbor Yard, you don't want to be a team that hits for power, I think, because there are few and far in between bats that are actually going to be able to leave the park at Harbor Yard.
No, at any point, at this level of baseball, just put the ball in play. And as we saw, it wasn't Wilton did a great job of getting timely hits, but certainly Darien helped him out especially in that first inning, just throwing the ball all around. It certainly saw some jitters on that big stage, which is a little surprising for the team that had been there before, defending FCAC champs, but. Wilton was, this was our first time seeing Wilton all year, and they really showed why they deserved to be the number 2. And they're technically, they were technically the home team, so their home unbeaten streak continues this season. That was a really impressive win by the Warriors.
And talking with Coach Tim Egan before the game, he talked about wanting to have that fast start. The team was so excited to be there, but it helps so much if you just settle into a groove early. And for Darien, I don't think, especially in my own opinion, I would have never suspected that pitching would have been the issue that really kind of ended their FCX season, as Geddes just, to put it bluntly, did not have it last night, only went 2/3 of an inning, and then at that point in time, the bullpen is rendered irrelevant for the Blue Wave.
Yeah, it was not the start that Geddes would like to hope for, and they bring in Jackson Vaught, Justin Jordan to try and stop the bleeding, but it wasn't enough. And I think to Eric's point, we talked about it last night. It was, especially at this level, and when you're playing at Harbor Yard, put the ball in play. Don't worry about hitting for power. Forget that. Just put the ball in play and see what happens. Because you saw in that first inning, Darien caused a couple errors that brought in some runs for Wilton. And I think, it is weird for Darien, a team that's so comfortable now, you think, playing at Harbor Yard, as last year's defending champions, you'd think that they'd be comfortable enough. And you even saw a shortstop in Henry Williams, who I thought this year was stellar at defense. At shortstop, he's got great range. He, again, just maybe the jitters got to them. But again, I credit the Wilton Warriors taking little bites at Darien. It paid off for them in that bottom of the first inning.
And Eric, one player who's going to be a little disappointed with the way his FCAC career ends has got to be Casey Brown. Just not the best night at the plate for one of the top hitters in the league.
Talk about a big point for Wilton, able to neutralize his power out of that spot in the lineup. Really was a non-factor in that game. And, when Darien started to creep back a little bit, you're thinking, okay, here we go, here come the bats. But they never came. That middle of the lineup was silence. You really got to credit Wilton and, being able to shut down an offense that looked pretty impressive in that game against Staples we saw in the quarterfinals.
12-3 was the final score in game number 1 at Harbor Yard last night. Here are the highlights from the Warriors' win.
It's so cool with the sound off behind it as this one is poked out to right field. Batson can't control it cleanly. Shremke's going to score easily. It's an RBI single, and the Warriors have the lead. As this one is a hot shot towards Brown. He's going to come home with it. The throw is down low, and O'Malley can't control it. Rounding third and heading to the plate, scoring standing up, is Lefrieri. It's an error on the first baseman, 2-run score, and it is a 3-0 Tribe lead. That's a grounder towards the middle. Williams can't stab at that one. It's into the outfield. Being rounded towards home is Phillips. Jordan's going to come up throwing, and it's offline, and it runs to the backstop. Judson takes a turn at second. He's off to third. Put another quarter in the merry-go-round as everything is working for Wilton. Pitch from Geddes in there, and it's lined back up the middle. Lands in right center. Shermecki rounding third. He will score. Being held at third is Cahal. It's another RBI single for Lefrieri. The lead is 8-0. It's runners off bases. This one is out towards right field, tailing off. And Shermecki coming over. He makes the catch with room. It's deep enough that it is going to score Fox, but how about the throw from Shermecki?
My goodness. Well, how about the catch? There's a lot of room out there out in right field in that foul territory near the bullpen.
This one is roped out to left field. Is it fair? Yes, and it's going to roll all the way to the wall. Donano will score. Conley heading for second. He will stay there with a stand-up double as the Tribe gets one back. Keeping an eye on Cahal is Jordan. This pitch is a line drive. It's off the glove of Marin and into left field. Cahal heading for third. He's being wound towards home. We'll see if Williams can get a cutoff throw there. It's to the plate and misses. To send the Warriors to the FCIAC championship. The pitch in there, strike 3, and Wilton will play for the title on Friday night. They knock off the defending champions by a final of 12-3.
So the Warriors cruising in game number 1. Game 2, much more tightly contested as Ridgefield would host Trumbull. And Trumbull had that little bit of a Cinderella feel, Kevin, when you think about the 8 seed getting in by virtue of a Danbury loss in a game that was being replayed under protest after the regular season has ended. They knock off number 1, a team that's been to the championship for the last 5 years. Everything just felt as though it was going Trumbull's way, but as Dave Schultz said last night on the air with us, it has truly been the year of the Tiger. As Ridgefield's Alex Price just was so strong start to finish. Ridgefield will go on and win 3-2. Before we break that down, to both you and Eric, what a dream matchup we are going to have on Friday night.
I'll let Eric go first.
Ratings. No, it's going to be fantastic. I mean, we saw, how awesome was that basketball championship that we saw in the winter between these same two schools. I'm really hoping. Come on out, kids! You guys, I want to see that place packed. I mean, these teams deserve it. We got one of the best rivalries in this state facing off once again. I hope that place is wild on tomorrow night, and we're going to see a great matchup between two really fun teams to watch. Should be a lot of fun. Thoughts, Kevin?
Here we
Tigers
go.
are back.
We're back. Ridgefield Wilton. I'm so pumped up. I think a lot of people are excited to have this. I know we all are, but I think it's only fitting that after what we saw in that basketball matchup that we ended up going to Fairfield University, and that atmosphere is something that none of us will ever forget, but I think it's only fitting that one of our last broadcasts of the year will be the FCIAC baseball final, and it'll be Ridgefield-Wilton. And I know the Wilton players want another crack at Ridgefield after what was a heartbreaking loss for them. And I know, hey, listen, I think Ridgefield, too, would love to play Wilton again. And it's only fitting that these two teams are going to go neck and neck and maybe have to pull out one of these bad boys again.
Do we have a fence that Kevin can sit on, Eric, just so he's in position for one of these team wins? Listen, it's awesome, and again, I hope we get a great atmosphere. Regardless, the rivalry is so much fun. It makes the championship that much better. Ridgefield, though, did everything they needed to pull that win off, and I know you have a signature moment in that game, Eric, that you think clinched their spot in the championship.
Yeah, you were talking about that Cinderella feeling that Trumbull had, and how many times this team has been able to pull it out and get back to that championship in the last 5-6 years or so. And we thought it was going to happen again. Trumbull would maybe blow this one open, and key moment early in that game, but Tony Macchia with the diving catch in the second inning, that really changed the tone of the game, ending that inning, ending the threat, keeping it just 1-0 for Trumbull, and then Ridgefield was able to come back and overtake the Eagles. I really think that if Macchia doesn't make that catch, that gets by him, that clears the bases, it's 4-0, and who knows what happens from there with the way that Ben Farrow was hurling the ball early in that game. That was the game right there, in my opinion, if you look back on it.
Eric, sorry, Frank, I'll raise you the Macchia catch, and I'll throw you the Thrasher catch out in left center field. I mean, I still can't believe he ran all that way and made that catch, because if he doesn't, that game's either tied or Trumbull takes the lead.
And you've also got the pinch runner getting thrown out at third by the backup pitcher, Livingstone.
That was big.
I mean, there were a lot of plays, and all of them I do think really came up at the exact moment Ridgefield needed to play. You mentioned Ben Farrow. I thought he dealt well again, and it was certainly well enough to win. Just in the end, the Tigers playing enough small ball, doing enough of the little things right. They come out on top 3-2. Here are the highlights from Ridgefield's win.
For the shortstop, as he hits one out towards center field. Thrasher coming in, going out to make the play was Motil. He couldn't get there. The first run will cross the plate, as it is an RBI single. 1-2 to Sosai. Lined out to left field. Diving to his left to make the play is Macchia.
What a catch out in left field. saves the Ridgefield Tigers, and now it's still only 1-0. What a catch.
The Eagles get one across the board, but Makia keeps it from being much more. Pitch to Columbia. Roped out to the left center gap. That ball's going to get down. We are tied at 1. Hannah heading towards third. They look over to second. Do they get it in time? No, safe. It's an RBI double. Runners on second and third, and Farrow now in a bit of trouble.
I'll tell you, 3-1, the squeeze is probably off.
Tell you what, at 3-1, the squeeze is probably on. As they get the out at first with Thrasher, the squeeze works though.
Great call.
Not the tallest goaltender right now.
As this one skips by, Brugman heading in to score from third is low, and now it is a 3-1 lead in the bottom of the fifth.
For baseball, say if Friday does not work out.
As Sosai turns on one to left center field. Over is Thrasher to make the catch.
How about the running catch by Thrasher?
Ruchalski scores. Sosai can't believe it. He's standing on second thinking he's got himself an easy double. That ball just got stuck up in the wind. Another ball down in the dirt. Heading for third. The throw is on the money. Last 5, they could be on the outside looking in. The pitch is popped over towards third. Fielding and firing to first. The Tigers are heading back to Harbor Yard Friday night. We've got a Wilton Ridgefield FCX championship.
So Friday night, it will be Wilton and Ridgefield. The Warriors are the home team there. Eric, Kevin, if you had to pick an X factor or one thing that could be the difference in that game right now, what would you say?
I think it's got to be Colin Lowe, who we expect to see starting for the Ridgefield Tigers on the mound. I think, overall, John Thrasher is another name that I think has stepped up for the Ridgefield Tigers all season long. And those two, I think if the Ridgefield Tigers want to win, I think it starts with those two.
I go with Billy Black on Wilton. I mean, we saw him in that 7th inning. Struggled a little bit. He's, definitely, I think, more used to starting than coming out of the bullpen. So maybe that was just a little bit of that adjustment of coming out of the bullpen instead of starting that we saw. It took him a little while to get out of that game. And then again, I think it's also, can they keep that, just keep the line going on the offense? I think that's another big thing for Wilton. I think Henry Stremecki, should, if he has another big game, that could be big. And Colin Cahal, just that core of that lineup. They don't hit for power, but they just keep that carousel going, as Frank put it. So yeah, Billy Black and the fluidity of the lineup for Wilton is the X factor for me.
Both Lowe and Black did close out the game in the 7th inning. Lowe's was for a save, while Black just working cleanup duty, but underneath 50 pitches, so they are both eligible to throw as many innings now as necessary on Friday. We're going to step aside one more time on Nutmeg Sports. When we get back, we look ahead to tonight's championship game, Ridgefield, Darien, boys lacrosse. That's all next on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with one of the largest inventories of new 2- and 4-door Wranglers. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Browse our websites, scapchryslerjeep.com or scapdodge.net to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck you've been looking for. Just 2 miles from both I-95 or the Merritt Parkway exit 44. Save thousands right now during the Drive and Discover event. Now through May 31st.
At Budget Blinds, we're in business to frame the light, the day, and the night. So we give you an exclusive combination of high style, expert service, our no surprises pricing, and our no questions asked warranty. We believe that everyone, at every budget, deserves style and service. Isn't that a beautiful place to be?
You don't have to go far for authentic Neapolitan cuisine and renowned wood fire pizza. Pizzeria Loretano of Bethel is a contemporary Italian bistro, specializing in authentic wood-fired brick oven pizza Napoletana. Pizzeria Loretano was named one of America's top 1,000 Italian restaurants in 2008 by Zagat, and recommended by Jane and Michael Stern on National Public Radio's Splendid Table. Located close to the Bethel Cinema, we focus on quality, and our food is always made to order. Join us for live jazz Sundays from 6 to 8. Find our schedule, menu, and more at pizzerialoretano.com and like us on Facebook.
The new fishing season is fast approaching, so it's time to head over to the dock shop and get your gear in order. We're now offering bait in both Darien and our Westport location. The dock shop can service and repair your rods and reels, spool up new line, and fill any empty space you might have in your tackle box. Whether you're a fisherman, boater, or beach bum, the dock shop is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
Spring has sprung at Walter Stewart's Market, and we're celebrating the new season with fresh takes on spring. From the finest produce around to guaranteed fresh seafood delivered daily by the best local supplier. Not only are we your time-saving one-stop shop for everything you need this season, our personable team is always ready with a helping hand. Shop Stewart's for the best of spring. Find us at 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
I can't believe it.
Well, Dad, you did it. You sold 160 cars. Ready to go back upstairs now?
I think it's time. I wonder how the boys are making out in their new office. Not what I had in mind, Kyle. What, Dad?
Maybe we should retire. Right now, lease a 2017 Rogue S for only $139 a month. Isn't it time you got Millerized?
Back on the HA Network as we continue to get ready for tonight's boys lacrosse championship game from Brian McMahon. The game has been moved up from 7 o'clock to 6 o'clock now, which limits our time here as we have got to make our way down to McMahon. So quickly now, boys, your prediction for tonight's game and why that team is going to win. I will start with you, Eric Gendron.
It's the endurance of Ridgefield. What we have seen in all these games with Darien is, there are really good teams that can keep up with them. But then you see that second half, and man, Darien just jumps all over them. It's can Ridgefield keep up with that transition speed the entire game, and it's so hard to do with Darien. And the other big thing is, don't let Darien score in the last 10 seconds. How many times have we seen it? It happens so many times. I can't believe it. I really feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Just don't let Darien score within the last 10 seconds of any quarter, and you'll have a better chance. I mean, we've seen these teams. They'll, Ridgefield will score. The girl, we saw it in the girls' game. We saw it in the boys' game earlier in the week. They score a goal, and they're like, all right, we're within one, we're within two. And then Darien goes back and scores with 10 seconds left or even less, and all that momentum is sucked out. Keep Darien off the board in the last 10 seconds. You got a shot. And try to keep up with the best team in the nation.
Yeah, this shouldn't be too hard. Kevin, your thoughts?
I think, obviously this is Darien's a great program, and I think, right now they're aiming for that 50th consecutive win. It would be only fitting to get it in the championship game tonight, and I think there's just too much. The offense is just overpowering. They have too much speed, like Eric said. The question is, can Ridgefield keep up with them? And I think if they can, especially early on, they cannot let Darien get out to a big lead early. Get some quick goals, and I think Ridgefield can hang on with them, and especially that second half. That's when Darien really heats up and gets going, especially with Logan McGovern and Kevin Lindley. So right now, I'm leaning Darien, but if Ridgefield can keep up, you never know.
For me, it's the Ridgefield offense. We've talked so much about Darien's offense this year, the transition attack, how many goals they can score, but it was an 11-4 win against Wilton earlier this year. Then they come back, beat them 17-3. They beat Ridgefield 10-3 the first time around this season. I really, as much as you want to slow Darien down, someone eventually has got to be able to keep up with them. And I think the team that beats Darien is going to do it in a shootout. It's going to be an 11-10 win or a 12-10 win. They are going to have to score more than you think to get themselves over the hump. But ultimately, in the end, I think Darien is just a bit too much defensively for the Tigers, who have been strong on offense. They've got some depth, but the ground ball play of the Darien long poles. And Ryan Cornell, in my opinion, is the best goalie in the nation right now. He is on his head. I will also go down and say Ryan Cornell scores a goal tonight. Mark my words on that one. That's going to do it for Nutmeg Sports today. For Frank Granito, Kevin Coleman, Eric Gendrum, we are out of here. On our way to McMahon, boys lacrosse, 6 p.m. start right here on the HAN Network.